Hi, good morning. Let's talk a little bit about now the fact that your home is under contract. Once you're officially under contract on a home, whether you're the buyer or the seller, there's usually a moment where the excitement hits. And then right after that, the questions start to come up, such as what happens next? Is everything on track? And is there anything I should be doing right now? And that is completely normal. Those are great questions. Hi, I'm Allison Hammonds, a local real estate agent here in the Las Vegas market. And one of the biggest parts of my job isn't just helping my clients get into contract, it's guiding them through everything that happens thereafter up until the finish line. Because this is the part of the process where things are moving, but not everything is always visible. And if you don't know what to expect, it can start to feel quite uncertain. Now, once you're under contract, things do start moving pretty quickly behind the scenes. There are timelines in place, deadlines that have to be met, and several key steps happening all at once. You'll typically have inspections, the appraisal, and the loan process all moving forward at the same time. And while that might sound like a lot, the goal is to keep everything organized and moving in the right direction without it feeling overwhelming. Now, one of the first major steps that usually comes up is the inspection. This is where the buyer has the opportunity to fully understand the condition of the home. And this is also one of the points where things can feel a little stressful for both sides. Because once the inspection is complete, there may be repairs requested or negotiations that come up. And this is where having guidance is really going to matter for you, whether you're buying or selling. Because it's not just about reacting. It's about understanding what's reasonable, what's expected, and how to move forward in a way that keeps the deal together. And around that same time, the appraisal is also taking place. This is where the lender is confirming the value of the home. And while many appraisals come in as expected, this is another area where questions can come up. If there's any gap between the contract price and the appraisal value, that is something that has to be worked through between buyer and seller. And again, this is where communication and strategy play a big role in keeping everything on track. And throughout all of this, the loan process is continuing in the background. There may be additional documents requested, updates needed, or final approvals being worked through. And this is where I always recommend to my clients staying responsive during this time is crucial. Because even small delays in communication can start to impact the overall timeline. And this really brings us to one of the most important parts of this entire process, that is communication. Because during escrow, there are multiple people involved. You have the buyer, the seller, the agents, the lender, and the title company. And everyone has a role in moving things forward. But if communication breaks down at any point, that's when small issues can start to turn into bigger ones, or timelines can begin to slip. This is exactly where I step in for my clients. My role during this time is to stay ahead of everything, not just react to it. I'm constantly watching timelines, checking in with all parties involved, and anticipating anything that could potentially slow things down before it actually becomes an issue. A lot of what I'm doing during this time isn't always visible, but it's what keeps everything moving forward very smoothly. And my goal is for you to never feel like you're in the dark. You should always know what's happening, what's coming next, and what, if anything, you need to be doing. Because clear communication doesn't just keep things organized, it prevents small issues from turning into much bigger ones. And I'm going to be very honest, this part of the process is where I see the biggest difference in how smooth a transaction feels. Because when there's a clear plan, strong communication, and someone staying ahead of the process, things tend to move the way that they're supposed to. But when those pieces aren't in place, even small things can start to feel very overwhelming. And the truth is, most transactions have moments where something needs to be worked through. That's just part of the process. The difference is whether those moments are handled early or allowed to create unnecessary stress later on. And that's where having the right guidance really makes a difference. So if you're planning to buy or sell a home in Las Vegas, or you're just trying to understand what happens once you're under contract, I'm always here as a resource. And when the time is right, I'll help you move through the process with a clear plan so nothing feels uncertain or left to chance. And if this was helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow along. I share content just like this to help you feel more confident and prepared every step of the way each week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and God bless.